Hey, everybody. Welcome to PDQ Live. Today, we're going to be talking about Connect and Deploy Scheduling 101. So this is kind of an intro course, right? If you're new to either of these products and you need to start scheduling and automating some deployments or updates, this will be the show for you, right?
Yes. We're slow today, so bear with us, right?
Yeah.
If you missed the pre-show.
Yeah, well, you didn't miss much, but welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back. Yeah.
So why don't we dive in to Connect first?
Okay, let's do
Let's spend
Connect.
some time there.
What are we going to start with?
So let's start with probably some automations,
Okay.
right? Because that's where your scheduling is going to happen.
Okay.
So from the main page, from the automations tab, you can see we have a handful set up here, but let's just build maybe a new one and talk about it, right? What do you want to build an automation for?
Well,
What app?
What app?
Yeah, what app do you want to keep up to date?
How about Chrome, since it updates
Okay.
every 7 seconds, just for fun?
So Chrome update, and we'll call it, all right. So we give it a name, and then we pick the package, right? So Google Chrome Enterprise.
I have a question. You
Yep.
know, I'm going to have a million questions. I saw a million different versions. Which one are you picking?
Well,
How did you pick?
Okay, so here's where we're going to get to versions, right? So you can notice that there's a few versions back if you need to pick an individual version. Or you can use this variable, right, for lack of a better word, called latest.
Okay.
Latest will always be the latest in the package library. All right, so since we want to keep Chrome up to date, if I set this to latest, then I'm going to have to I can forget about this automation and I can forget about Chrome.
It'll always do the
Yeah.
latest. Okay.
Now, like, let's say that I had Firefox and we're not doing Chrome, we're doing Firefox, and I need it at a very specific version, right? Then you could pick the version from the list and it would keep it that version and not deploy latest. But
If I don't want the latest, I would specifically
yeah, but in
pick
this
that version.
case, I'm like,
Okay.
I want to forget about Chrome. I don't want to have to worry about Chrome updates anymore, right? So now I've got my name and I've got my package attached to the latest version. So now it's like, now we need to determine when do we want this thing to fire. There's a couple different ways to do it. Since we're wanting this to be an automation and not just fire once, we don't want to do a deploy once. This is maybe nice if you're pre-staging something. Like, hey, I need to switch out this software for this software, and I want to do it at 2 a.m. when nobody's working, but I also don't want to be working.
Okay.
So I might say deploy once, at 2 a.m. to all these targets, and when I wake up, I hope it's done. There's a recurring, right? Maybe I have a defined maintenance window. Maybe my defined maintenance window is something like Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, right? And I can start at 10:03 a.m., what it is right now. And then I can repeat this every 1 week, right? So this schedule, as it is every week on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, starting at 10:03, I'm going to deploy Chrome, the latest version of Chrome,
Okay.
right? But maybe I don't even want to have to think about it that much. Okay, that's where this automatic trigger comes in. So this automatic trigger does a few different things. The first is it's going to trigger as soon as the automation is set up. So once we give this thing some targets, it's going to deploy to them. When a device joins the group that we target, either a static group or a dynamic group, or when the package in the library is updated to the next version. So there's a lot of different triggers that happen when we choose automatic. That's the one that I'm going to choose, right? So I'm going to...
Tim, obviously we're going to deploy in production 24/7. Duh. That's what we always do.
Yeah, it's called the scream test.
So wait, can I get back and ask the question really quick? Because I was
Sure.
obviously paying really close attention to what you said.
Yep.
Duh. It's going to do it only in the time frame that I specify, though, right?
It's not.
Oh, okay. So I
No.
got to pay attention to that.
Yeah, so this recurring, right, it's going to start Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 10:03 a.m. Do that every week. If I choose this automatic, when any of these conditions are satisfied, a device comes into a group, as soon as I set it up, or the package that's attached gets updated, it's going to fire.
So that's kind of problematic, isn't it? Because what if I don't want it to go right when I move it? So I got to be careful when I'm putting computers in a group then, if I don't want it to go right away.
Well, maybe they move into a group because of like a variable update, right? There's an old version. And so like when the package library for Chrome updates, everything goes from Chrome up to date to Chrome old. And if that's the collection or the group that we're targeting, this is going to fire.
Okay.
So it could happen in the middle of the day.
So that's a good thing to know. Okay.
I mean, most packages have this way of like graceful installation. Like I'm pretty sure that Zoom, if you're on a Zoom call and when you deploy Zoom, it's not going to kill Zoom.
But I
It'll
want to make
wait.
sure I don't reboot as a step.
A reboot is probably one that you don't want to do.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that Chrome does it too. Like, hey, if Chrome is open, it's just going to wait until relaunch to be at the newest version. So you're not going to like hammer your users with this, but always test. There's always edge cases. There's always unintended consequences. So just kind of be careful with it.
Okay.
All right. Chrome update, Chrome latest, automatic. And this is where we deploy to, right? So let's do.
These are my target.
These are your targets.
And these are
Chrome old.
groups.
These are
I
groups.
almost said the wrong term. I almost said the bad word that I'm not going to say. Groups.
We'll have to switch
Groups.
terminology here in a
Yes.
second.
Okay.
So now we're deploying Chrome latest as soon as the new one's out to everybody that's in Chrome old. And the way that devices are going to go from Chrome latest to Chrome old is with that package updates.
Okay.
So in this case, as soon as I click save,
Yeah.
I'm gonna save it. Why not? Right? Where did it just go?
Probably should clean this up. Sorry, I got a bunch
It's
in
okay.
there.
Chrome update right here. So last deployment was today at 10:07 right now because we satisfied that first condition of the automatic trigger of building it,
Okay.
right? So I don't know if anything was actually in that. Look
probably.
at that. Look
Yeah.
at that. Look at these. These are in progress right now. And if there was an update that comes into the package library in this show, it's going to deploy again. So that's a way of you can duplicate this for any software that's in the library and not have to worry about manually patching that ever again.
Okay.
Right? Because I just built an automation that as long as the agent's running, that piece of software is going to be up to date.
Okay.
All right.
Makes sense.
So the thing that I do want to cover here is maybe you're in a really large environment, right? And you start
Bandwidth.
Yeah. You start setting up lots of these automatic triggers, right? Chrome by itself is what, 30, 40 megabytes? Now, if I've got 1,000 computers, 30, 40 megabytes times 1,000 computers behind a single WAN link, that can kind of hurt, right? So let's talk about how to kind of control that and stage deployments. You saw in the previous, in our deployment tab that we had some that were staged. We've really shrunk our download limit here down to 2 for this one IP address. These are your external IP addresses of the devices behind that site. So this is a way for you to kind of save your bandwidth if you're at a large site. So here, like we've got a couple gig links. We could go higher than this, but we're going to keep ours artificially lower at 2. But this is a way so that if it is 11 o'clock in the morning and a Chrome update comes out, everyone doesn't start looking around going, where'd all the internet go?
Right. Why is it so slow?
Yeah.
Okay. And you went to settings and then bandwidth.
Settings, bandwidth. You can put in a handful here. You can put them in individual addresses. You can put them in CIDR notation. You can do IPv4. You can do IPv6, whatever your site is.
Okay.
Okay.
So this is going to be dependent for your environment and how much you can handle.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
Got it.
Yep. All right. Let's go back to our automations and let's build a new one because I think we had a question come in about this.
Yeah, there's a couple in there actually.
Yeah, and there was one that specifically came in on the email we sent out before.
Would you like that question?
I would love that question.
Okay, let's give you that question. It says, hi there, for Connect, I need to be able to schedule an hourly job. When will that be available? Barry W.
Ooh, Barry.
Barry.
Barry, it's available now. You're just not really going to like this answer. But I wanted to show it anyway, just because if you have it and you want to do it, you can. It's just not going to be pretty, right? So we can use our recurring trigger, right? And we can say start today or tomorrow at midnight, right? And we can say repeat every day, every one day. All right. So this is our midnight trigger, right? And then we'd, deploy to the group we want and the package we want, we'd attach it to this, right? It's not going to be pretty, but then we can do this. 1 a.m. trigger. And we're going to change this from here to here. And what ends up happening is you end up building 24.
One for every hour?
Yeah. It's not, I didn't say it was clean. I never said it was clean. I said it was possible.
You said, yes, we can. It's
yes, we
ugly, but yes.
Can you? Should you?
Hey, look, you only have to do it once, right? You only have to do it once. It's not pretty, but it works for now. I actually don't know if there's like an hourly trigger on the roadmap.
Yeah.
But look, if you absolutely have to get something done, you have the tools at your disposal. Let's go ahead and use them.
Okay. Makes sense.
All right. I think that's where I was at in
Targeting,
Connect.
we did that. Build a group, use filters. Okay.
Yeah, like we
Bandwidth.
Is there any other questions that we have about Connect right now, Kelly, before we switch gears? Otherwise, I can go show some groups and stuff like that.
I'm trying to see if we have any direct
Get
connect.
Option to limit number of connections per IP.
Yeah.
You kind of went over that, but there is a question right there. You see that?
No.
The Marcel question?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Let's bounce over. If you've never seen, right, like this is a 101 webcast today. Let's say you've never built a group for targeting and what these actually look like, right?
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. So if we create a group, right, well, let's duplicate something. And this is how your targeting works. Here, we'll show it in inventory here in a second. Let's call this one things and stuff.
Things and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm going to ask the question, why would I make a static group versus a dynamic group?
Maybe I have
Tell me the difference.
Okay, so like let's tie it back into what we were just doing for targeting or for automations. Maybe I have a group of power users, right, that I feel comfortable assigning that automatic trigger to,
Okay.
right? So I've got their 10 computer names and they're my test case. And I'm going to set all my automations to immediate for them because they're like my canary in the coal mine. If something goes sideways, they're going to tell me.
So what Jake does to me.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Because this is the group of people that is going to tell you, hey, something's wrong with this update before you roll it out to the rest of your organization. So that's what I would use a static group for.
Okay.
Maybe the hourly trigger someone had here was like, hey, I need to do this on these devices. Yes, the one that was held up by duct tape and dreams,
Yeah, right.
but still up.
Okay.
I would use that too.
Okay.
All right. So the logic here, right, is you start adding these
Filters. Okay.
filters, and they're just and ors, and you can go like to nors. You can get as fancy as you want here, but you can go off of really anything you need to pick out a device, right? So maybe I only want to see stuff where the software name contains, blah. Show me all computers where the software name contains blah, right? This is going to return nothing because I don't think we have any software that contains blah, right? And then we can maybe add one, and we can say and, the software version is, equals 34. Okay, so then I can build it and I can start looking at things like this. This is a little bit different than an inventory, and we'll go show that next. This one makes it a little easier as you talk through the logic. If you're like me, when you're doing anything SQL or comparisons, like I talk out loud. I want to see all computers where this and not that.
Yeah. So if you've never done this before, I think personally this can be a little bit confusing. Can you talk through where this is pulling from? Because I think when you do that, it's actually helpful for beginners.
I think so too. Okay, so let's keep this one in mind, right? Where we're looking for software for things and stuff. Let's go find a computer, Fruity Pebbles. Everything you see here, right, is that software operator back in the beginning. So we can look at software name, we can look at software version, install date, and we can do comparisons on these objects.
Okay.
So what I like to do is I go find a computer that's a representative sample of what I'm looking for, and look how it's actually built in here, right? Because then I can do things like I can copy paste and not have to remember.
Guess. Yeah, you're not guessing.
I'm not guessing.
Yeah.
That's especially helpful if you're doing things with an equals operator.
Yes.
Because remember, equals is equals.
Right.
It's not
I want to
contains.
find this, so go copy
Yes.
it and paste it into your filter rather than just blindly searching.
Yeah.
A lot less frustrating.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right. So this is where everything is built from. Like if I want to see things on the device table, that's where things are a little fuzzier here because that devices table contains quite a bit of data and some of it's overlapped and we're doing some joins behind the scenes for you.
Okay.
But the other ones like software, registry, stuff like that, those are pretty cut and dry.
Okay. So if you start getting frustrated, do what Josh is just doing. Drill down to the computer itself.
Take a screenshot.
Then copy and
then
paste.
go build it.
That makes sense. Okay. Perfect.
All right. That's scheduling and targeting in Connect 101. That's our 101 course.
Okay. I like it.
Should we switch gears?
Yeah.
All right.
Should go
And let me know when you want to grab a few questions because we've got a few.
Let's do that. Let's do some questions while we fire these two up right here.
Okay. All right. Let's throw a question up here. Dear Josh and Tara, has any thought been given to building out a pre-configured collection in PDQ Connect like we already have inside of PDQ Inventory? Nathan G.
Yeah.
Yes.
And those actually can get refreshed, right, for your org. So those are in there. They come out of the box, and it's pretty easy to duplicate them, right? Like, I think you can come over here to the dots, right? And you can say right here, you can open one up. The same thing I do. Oh man. Of course I pick like the one that is the deepest,
Obviously.
right? And you can edit and duplicate these things. I think you can also write into support, and then if there's been any added, they can kind of push them into your org for you.
Yeah, they are working on it right now.
Yep.
Would you like
Great
one
question,
more?
though.
Sure.
Yeah, let's give you one more
Let's
question.
do more.
Okay. Is there a way to scan after deployment, or does it already do that? When using automatic, will it retry if there was an error? Sincerely, Zorro.
So remember, there's no scan after deployment in Connect, right? Because these are near real time. So you don't have to, the scan
WebSockets.
after is implied, right? So you don't have to do that thing.
Yeah.
Like if it fails, right? Depends on what it failed for. If it failed because it's offline, it's just going to sit in a queued state in Connect, and it's going to wait. If it throws an error, I actually don't know the behavior of that, to be honest. If it throws an error, like it throws a 1603 in the automatic trigger, I haven't dug into that. But now I want to go find out.
From what Owen said, it's WebSockets, so it's pretty much immediate all the time. But yeah, that's a good question.
If I use the automatic trigger and it fails, like the package fails, when is it going to retry?
Oh, good question.
I actually don't know. I'm going to go look that up. So I'll find out and I'll post in Discord. It'll give me a reason to get into Discord.
Good idea.
All right. All right, Kelly, we got any more or should we move on?
While we move on, we do have a few more questions, but let's see what else you have.
Oh, boy. All right. So let's switch some gears here and let's go to deploy and inventory.
Woo!
So I'm going to try and keep my terminology correct into schedules instead of automations and collections instead of groups.
Okay, let's not
see
mess
if I
it
can
up.
do it.
Don't mess it up, Josh.
All right. So just like Connect, we have a package library. So let's do the same thing here, right? Let's grab Chrome. I want Chrome Enterprise. So different, instead of Connect, I have to go download this package and it'll show up here.
It's downloading. Look.
Look at it go.
It's magic. Oh my gosh, I
Right.
love it.
Okay. And then these, because it's now a local copy, I have the auto download. And this is where I get to determine what latest is. So if I wanted to mirror the exact same behavior, or as close to it as I can as Connect, I need to change this to an immediate.
Oh, immediate. Okay.
Yeah. So this is the same as the latest in Connect. This is immediately as soon as a new version is available. Go grab it.
But if I'm paranoid, I can say 7 days or whatever.
Yeah, you could say 7 days, you can say 3 days, you can say, 2 hours.
Can I tell you what I love really quick, though? I don't want to throw you off, but I love that as we're talking, they're not even listening to us. They're answering their own questions in chat right now. That's what I absolutely love.
That's my favorite.
I love it.
Yes.
So good.
Yeah. I mean, everybody in the chat's smarter than I am, so
know,
I'm
it's
just
right.
here as background noise.
I'm just watching them going, oh, yeah, look, they're answering
Yeah,
them. That's
yeah.
great. I love it.
All right.
Continue.
So I've got Chrome Enterprise, this package. is now immediate. So this is the one that I've got. Thankfully, it's the only one in here, so I don't mess it up. Now, instead of an automation, I'm going to build a schedule, right? And so this schedule, this is where you've got a couple different options as far as triggers go. The triggers here are different than Connect because there is no real-time connection to a target machine. Right. So things are happening based off of perceived events, specifically a heartbeat trigger. Right. I don't have a real-time connection, but what I can do is I can ping a device and see if it comes back to an online state. I get an ICMP
hey,
echo.
Are you there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So I'll throw a heartbeat. Right. That's has been scanned before. Like that's the first thing that needs to happen is the device needs to be scanned.
Yep. You're online. You're ready to receive
It needs to go to an
this.
online state. It goes to an offline state, right? ICMP timeout. Doesn't mean that it actually went offline. It's just an ICMP timeout from the local area network. So it could have just left the building, didn't actually reboot, just left where I can't see it. And then it comes back to an online state. Now this trigger is satisfied. And now whatever is attached to this schedule is going to fire. I like keeping the heartbeat trigger in conjunction with other triggers. You can get as fancy as you want here, right? You can say interval, starting every 1 day, but only during this time and ending at this time. Like you can get as gnarly as you want.
I'm pretty fancy, Josh.
Then go be fancy.
Okay,
Build out whatever you want to have happen here. I'm a simple person.
You are?
So I'm a simpleton.
Are you?
I am. So usually I do like a heartbeat and then every day starting at a time.
What's your time frame that you usually do? Just one?
Oh, I just send it.
Oh, okay.
I just send it. All right. Here's where it gets kind of interesting is you need to pick your targets, right? And targets here, it's the exact same as in Connect.
But now we're calling it, now it's collection.
No, it's collection.
Collection. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to pick my Chrome collection here eventually, right?
It's thinking.
It's thinking. Did I not open inventory? I probably didn't open inventory.
No, it's not open. We didn't open it.
All right. So I'll pick my, pretend here that I chose.
We're using our imagination.
Pretend here that I chose Chrome Old.
Yep, I can
Right?
see it.
Right.
I can see it.
And now I've got my package attached to Chrome
Totally.
Old.
You do.
So here's the thing that usually trips people up is this one checkbox right here.
Stop deploying when they succeed.
Yes.
That's important.
That's important, right? If I have a package at a static version and I only want it deployed once, like I have Notepad++ and I want it deployed at version 2, and I want it to just stop. Once that happens there, I'll leave this checked, right? This plays off of the target history. So if I've had a successful target here, the package is the same, not an download package, that schedule will not run anymore.
Okay. If I don't check that, it will just keep going and going
It'll
and going.
just keep going forever.
Okay.
So this
Gotcha.
is important if you're doing a reboot step, right? And I want it to reboot every week, always, you need to uncheck this.
Gotcha.
Yep. You can leave it checked in this case because our package is going to change. It's going to go from Chrome version X to Chrome version Y. That's going to reset it. The other thing you can do to reset it is you can clear this target history. You can pick devices here and you can hit delete. You can delete it from all schedules. There's also a command line parameter to clear this out as well.
Okay.
So you can get in here. You can mess with offline settings if you want. You can do the settings from packages. You can do your own. You can change everything you want. That's it, right?
Okay.
So then we have our schedules. And it would be tied here. You can also see all of your schedules from here. The only stuff we have is like Chrome Old. It's broken because I didn't actually pick a target. And we have a PS Windows update that's running on days 21 at 11 p.m. starting. You can see the next run and the last run from deployments.
I have it at 11 p.m. even though no one's even here, but I can't break old habits, Josh. I have to.
That's fair.
I can't help myself.
All right. Let's see. Schedule, attach package, targeting, collection, and collection library. Let's see. Trick here. I know I've showed it a bunch of times, but if you're new, building collections can be daunting. So
Let's see.
What I like to do is I like to find Chrome Enterprise Old, right? And I like to right click and I like to duplicate it. And then when I come down here,
Search for it, find it, so you don't have to scroll down. Yeah.
Find it, right? And then I
Okay.
can use this as my template. This is what I'm looking for, right? If I'm building my own collection, rather than reinvent the wheel. The wheel's already there, just copy paste it.
Okay. Makes sense, because there's all your logic. Yep.
There's all the logic there. It's, in my opinion, like if you're a visual person, this type of logic makes sense. More to me, because I can see like the nested, like show me all computers where the application name equals, and it's this flow down. Versus in Connect, if you're more of like a logical thinker or you're more familiar with like structured queries, the English makes more sense.
Yeah.
So it takes some switching back and forth.
Can you explain really quick the drill down from parent collection, when I would want to check that and when I wouldn't?
So a drill down from parent collection, if you're looking, so by default, all of these collections are evaluating against all computers that are in PDQ inventory. To drill down from the parent collection, right, we're talking about these here. So this is a parent collection, Chrome Enterprise latest. It's taking the resultant set of the first evaluation and passing it to the next set of evaluating.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, so like an OU,
Yeah,
essentially.
if I have 100 computers in all computers, the first collection runs and maybe only returns 20. My next set of logic is only against those 20.
Okay.
The thing that's important is know that the top level collection and the bottom level collection both must stand on their own.
Gotcha.
Like you can't be passing logic between them. They both must return valid results. You're just taking the sample size and reducing it.
Makes sense. Okay, perfect.
Cool.
Looks like you got questions.
I like questions.
We do have a bunch of questions. Are you ready?
As I'm going to be.
Okay, let's do this. Hey, Josh and Tara, does stage deployments only stagger the downloads, or does it also stage the installs like the concurrent install limit in deploy? Mikey B.
Ooh, so we're back. Let's switch back to Connect here. So this is both, right? Like if I've got...
Back to settings, bandwidth. Okay.
Okay, so it's the active download limit. If I've got 100 computers and I set this to 2 of them are going to download. And then once it starts the install state, then the next one can fill in its slot.
Okay.
So this is just to conserve that bandwidth. So it's not, you could, if your bandwidth is really fast and you do 2 at a time, you could end up with like 10 computers installing, but only 2 downloading at a time.
Oh, so
what's
it
the
is
fastest thing here? Is it actually installing or is it downloading? But this is in relation to bandwidth only.
So pay attention here, for sure.
Yeah.
I love that you're just like, meh.
I mean, do what works for you. Mess around with it.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. Hey, are DLL files blocked? I have a program that requires DLL files to be registered, but as soon as I upload them, I get an error. Jamie.
Upload them
where?
where? Are we talking about Connect? I'm going to assume we're talking about Connect. I actually don't know. That's a great question. Now I'm going to go see if that's a valid file type. I would assume it is, but maybe not.
I'll write it down. We'll have to come back.
We'll look at that
one.
one. Yeah, then I don't know, but I'll find out.
Okay. Moving right along, question from Marcel. When can we get the option to limit the number of connection per IP, but individually? Like IP1 equals 3 connections, IP2 equals 5 connections, etc.
Oh, I see what you're saying, Marcel. Like you're saying, like if I had, this, I want, 23.130 address to be 2 because it's on some dial-up line versus the one that's over here. I've got, bandwidth to be 30 or so. It's a great feature request. I don't know the timing on that. I like it though.
Okay, moving along. From Douglas W., using PS Windows Update on my on-prem servers. I am getting successful deploys back, but when I jump on the server to take a look, updates haven't run, and I end up doing it manually. Thoughts?
Let's look at PS Windows Update, right? So if we look at this, remember in deploy and connect, as we're looking at these things, does it run and does it return the right success code? That doesn't mean that I actually did the thing that I was supposed to do, right? From the context of PDQ deploy, in this right here, we're saying, hey, go run this .ps1. And if it runs successfully, we'll get an exit code of 0.
Okay.
Just because it ran doesn't mean it installed the updates. So, so what might be helpful to troubleshoot in this scenario is grab this file here from your repository whatever you've got configured, go grab that file and run it interactively on that server. See what happens. Does it install updates? Does it throw an error there? Because right here, we're probably just running the PS1, and there might be some resultant error in there that we can't capture because it's in a different state.
Okay.
That'd be my suggestion there.
Okay, we have a follow-up question from Mike B. about stage deployments. Okay. He says, since stage deployments only does downloads, is there another way to limit the active installs like deploy? If I push updates to 500 machines, I only want some to install at once.
This is going to come down to targeting, right? So I would handle this if it was me, Mike. I would handle this in my grouping, right? Maybe instead of picking, let's see, I like picking on Chrome. I don't know why.
Chrome's your thing today.
So Chrome old, right? Like this is all of them that have old versions of Chrome. Maybe I create one that's Chrome old, and then the additional filter logic in this is device name starts with 1. And that's all of your 100 devices. Device name starts with 2. That's 200 devices. And so as you're building your automations, you're targeting the chunks differently instead of you're just moving that logic somewhere else.
That makes sense.
That would be what I would do.
Okay. Moving on, what happens when using variables when the PDQ updated version doesn't exactly match what's in the software page? E.g., Adobe Acrobat shows as 24.2. blah blah, but the variable is 24.002. blah blah.
Stupid Adobe.
Just Rob, we actually want to know about those, like as the variables match, and it depends on where you're looking. I have seen things report in like appwiz.cpl as version 1.0. But then if you go look into the registry, it might be like 1.00. Right? That extra 0 might matter, and it really matters in the case of an equals operator. So if you find stuff like that, especially if it's in the library, give us a shout. Let us know about those.
And another question from Just Rob. When will I be able to duplicate a group in Connect? Building them out by hand is so tedious.
I know. Yeah, I know. It's this race of like, do I do feature like make life easier features like that? Or do I bring more functionality? It's a prioritization thing. It's an order of operations thing. There are some things in there like duplicating collections that I really want to. But I probably wanted bandwidth constraints more than I wanted that. So it's a matter of time, right?
Okay, we have 2 more questions in the queue. In Connect, under Windows 11 version and Windows 11 cumulative updates, why don't I have a 23H2 group yet? Zorro.
I'm pretty sure I think I saw an internal Slack about that. I think they got released last week. I think that might be one to pop over to support. There's that support page you can post in there.
Yeah,
but I'm
can't
pretty
hurt.
sure those got released.
Just ask.
Yeah.
Okay. And our final question of the day. Can we get an equivalent of drill down from parent collection in Connect? That's really useful in deploying inventory. Just Rob.
Yeah, Rob, I agree. It's really useful, especially when you're trying to not build all of those collections by hand, like I saw in the chat. Like I had this many computers. It actually is really nice to be able to do a resultant set. So I see the shortcut you're trying to take there. On timing, again, it's just in what order, right?
Let's just go build it out after the show. Me and you. Right?
Sure. I actually did build something kind of cool. I do want to show you after the show.
Okay.
It's like this little PowerShell module.
Yeah.
It's like PS Windows Update, but all native Windows API.
Yeah.
So you don't have to have the module. You can return and install stuff by KB number individually.
Oh.
I'll show you.
Okay. I like it.
Yeah. Cool. Everybody, thanks for joining our 101 class on scheduling in both Connect and Deploy Inventory.
We made it.
We did it.
We made it.
We did it.
We were really dragging you guys. We made it.
For PDQ, I'm Josh.
I'm Tara.
Thanks for joining our webcast today. Congratulations going out to Jamie and Zorro. Yes, winners of PDQ swag, if you would be so kind as to send us your mailing address. We would love to send you some goodies. Thanks again for joining us. Like and subscribe, and please leave us your comments, and we'll see you back here next time.